Microphone check. 1, 2. If you can hear me, give me a 1, please. Mic check. Microphone check. Peace, peace. The brother Low Keys in the house. Legendary, got to be the #1 name on the internet. Legendary is in the house. Brianna Dunlap is in the house. What's happening? Lady Owl, what's happening? Okay, so y'all can hear me? Okay, all right. We're about to kick it off here real. Just a second. That's what's up. Lady Al said, I've been waiting on this, been studying. All right. No doubt. No doubt. Okay. Get my little, try my best to manage because this really needs to be done. This really needs to be done with 2 people, but it's all right. We're gonna make it work. Trying to make sure that I'm clear. All right. Okay. So this is part 3 of this very long, drawn out little presentation on Candyman. I hate that it has taken this long to finish, but it is what it is. So we're gonna zoom through this. Peace. Tarza Marie Law 360. I'm trying to remember the other. Anessa. What's happening? Okay. We're gonna try to zoom through this. The etymology of Candyman. I hope it hadn't been so long that everything's been forgotten from. Either way, it's up on the internet. You can go and watch it. But I've said this before, and I want to say it again. When the authors who write in the, let's say from the 1940s back, and on back into the 19th century, which is the 1800s, there's a common theme. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They put a great emphasis on language, word origins, etymology. For example, some of you, I just want to give you an example of how what's the word I'm looking for? How words, the importance of words can be overlooked, okay? Many of you are familiar with the term grimoire, okay? Grimoire, when you're talking about magic. There are several grimoires, okay? I think it's spelled Grimoire. Do you know what that word means? Grimoire, ancient grimoire, Enochian grimoire, or Babylonian grimoire, or whatever. There's different types. The word means grammar. That's what grimoire means. Grammar. And grammar means glamour. And glamour means magic. So I'm sure this is nothing new to you all, but especially the relationship between grammar and glamour. But maybe someone out there didn't know that grimoire is part of that lineage. Grimoire is grammar. So these books put a huge emphasis on language. Okay. So if you're reading something, or if you're, no matter what it is, mythology, literature, law, whatever, even if you getting into a movie and you want to understand any holy book, whatever, a great deal of the meat is in the language. When you start figuring out what the words really mean, then the story comes alive. So that's why that's our segue into part 3 of this, where we're going to look at the etymology here, Candyman. What I'm going to do is put the camera on the board, and I got 2 parts to this. First, we're going to just go and look at the different characters in the movie, okay? And we're going to break down what their names mean and my take on what they represent, okay? So we're going to try to go through this relatively. Oh, shit. The only problem is I don't have my monitor and I can't see what y'all are seeing. To live stream, I have to disable my viewfinder. So I can't see. I don't have nothing. I got my monitor, my computer monitor set up. So I gotta spin this around so that I can see what y'all see, so that I don't be talking and then it just be. Y'all bear with me here. As my grandma would say, we're gonna make do. Shit. Well, damn. Okay. Part of the reason I want to do this thing is because I'm tired of my board has been held up for the longest. Damn, that's as far as I can zoom out. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? Give me a 1 if you can hear me, please. Just want to make sure before I get to yapping. That I can be heard. Can y'all hear me? Peace, wise family. Can y'all hear me? Give me a 1, somebody, please, if you can hear me. Just want to make sure. Okay, bet. Thank you. Now, is the board clear? Can you see that? Because what we're starting with is let me adjust this. Kind of blurry. How about that? How about that? Let's see. Maybe I need to pull this back. I don't know why I got this little. I know it's a lighting thing. Okay. This here is Helen. Okay. I still see a little blur. Let me see if I can get over here. This might help. Now, I think that's better. Okay. Let me get my notes. Okay, this is the main character in the movie. Her name is Helen, all right? So these up here are what's called Indo-European roots, okay? And a lot of this just comes back to phonetics. Okay, phonetics deals with sound. That's all that, phonic sound. So I'm using I'm using two basic sources to look up the etymology on these, and you all know I've showed these books a million times. But either way, one root is DHEU, Roman numeral 1. Second root, UELU. Okay? Now, the first one, do, means to smoke, rise, fly about. Okay? All right. Second one, Ulu. Ulu. Just look at the words you can pull out. This Ulu, Cthulhu, Unkulu, Kulu. Just, you see what I'm saying? Phonetics is a big part of language. Okay. Ulu is turn, curve, roll, infold, envelop. In Greek and English, this is where we get the word helix, which is what the DNA does, okay? It forms a helix. So in forming a helix, it turns, curves, rolls, and folds, okay? The divine essence turns, curves, rolls, and folds itself into man, okay? So we see we already see where we're lining up here, why Helen is the main character. It's the story of the progression of spirit, so to speak, okay? One thing we can't overlook is that in her name, too, the first three letters is Hell, okay? So what I did was I went ahead and did the etymology on hell, okay? So hell comes from K-E-L, Roman numeral 6. This is a family. This is a root family. So when you see the Roman numeral on the end, that means there's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and it breaks down this family into subgroups, okay? So this is Kel, subgroup 6. And this means hollow, cover, to hide, conceal, sail. So whenever I do these little brackets here, I'm talking about words that come out of this root family. And these are to give you place markers, because these are words. I picked words for some of them that we would recognize in our everyday life. So hell is something that is concealed. It's a sail. And what does a sail do? It conceals or hides light. Okay? So it says a lot about our existence, because hell in Hebrew is Sheol. Sheol becomes shell. But what's interesting is that from the same grouping, we get the word school. So sometimes in our studies, we become very disgruntled with the whole idea of life, and it becomes, oh, I'm trying to get out of here and get out of here and get out of here because I'm in hell. But just juxtapose the word hell with the word school, because that's the same, they come from the same root. Hell means school. School is where light is concealed until it is matured enough to be revealed. So this gives you the setting for the movie. This is the main character. This is a representation of our human existence. Okay? Her best friend in the movie is Bernadette. And you notice here, I bracketed burn a debt. Okay? But before I get into just breaking it, what I did was I took burn, and the root of that is Bhereu. Okay? The root of debt. And what I'm doing with debt, I'm taking scholastic liberty, and I'm looking up debt as though it's DEBT, debt. Your bills, your debts. Okay? And that comes to GHEBH. Now just look at that. Look at this right here. That would be pronounced Geb. Does that sound familiar? Isn't that a Cometian Egyptian deity? Geb, Nut, and Geb. Okay. Well, let's look deeper, because burn, beru, means to stir, warm, boiling. Geb, give and receive. Latin gives us deber and debetum, as in debt again. But what's interesting about this is that look at the paradox here. Look at this paradox, that a debt is not just get something that requires you to give energy, it also is a reception of energy. So look how these two are juxtaposed. These are best friends in the movie. Helen is the representation of the human journey of spirit into matter, okay? God into human. Bernadette, as the best friend, expounds on Helen as in what is to be done. Spirit must move. Stir, warm, boiling, warm, kundalini, heat. Okay? And there must be a giving and receiving. This is an exchange. All life is dependent on exchange. All life is based on commerce. There must be a giving and exchange of energy. There must be an ebb and flow. There must be polarity. Okay? Now, I talked a lot about this. When Helen, let's make sure that y'all can see this. When Helen starts her quest, okay, into the research about Candyman, she discovers that the first victim of Candyman was Ruthie Jean. Ruthie Jean. Now, like I was saying when we did the thing, the last few installments, when you're sitting down with the writers and they're thinking about all the different aspects of the movie, where does the name Ruthie Jean? Does it just come out of the thin air? You know what I'm saying? That's why, okay, we're going to look at this thing. This is deep right here. At least to me it is. So what I did was I broke down her name in several ways. I'm trying to find him. We first come back to Rue, okay? For Ruthie, Rue. R-E-R-U-E, okay? Jean, again, I took scholastic liberty, all right? And I transposed gene into gene as in genetics. G-E-N-E, gene, okay? Gene comes from this root, G-N. This is one of the most prolific roots in language, okay? G-N, because this is where we get the Gnostic or Gnostic. This is where we get knowing, kindle, able, can. All these words come out of this root family right here, GN. Okay? So as you see, I broke it down. REU. These are Harua. Listen, look at the words or the roots. Harua, Hoa, Eve, breath. Okay, but you notice it says pain. What happens to Eve in Genesis? She is cursed to give birth in pain, to suffer. Harua, Hoa, life. Life is suffering. Okay, then we extend it. Rua, sorry, sorrow. Okay, now you see down here, I got this in parentheses, suffer. Because this is who Eve is. Because Eve coincides through her suffering with the non-number 0. Because 0 is SFR in Arabic, sifr. Sifr has the same consonants as suffer, SFR. That makes sense? So I got this whole, a little mini book I've written, and it's going to break down even numbers. Because what is suffering? Suffering is when 0 becomes a number. Because number means to dismember. So the root gene suffered how? It was split up. Creation. I hope y'all following me. That's the suffering, okay? Now, I went further. Let's look at the word root, because that's in there too. Root. Okay? Root comes from U-E-R-A-D. Urid. Urid means branch. So the root, the branch, this is your tree of life. This is your tree of life. Branch. Branches. Sepharith. Sepharith are branches of the tree. Okay? So this is the goddess. The goddess is the tree of life. Okay, now we go over into Greek, the handling of this same root in Greek, and we get the word glucariza, which means sweet root, which is where we get the word liquor and where we get the word race. Ruthie Jean is the root race. The root gene, the root race gene. All right. In Hebrew, we're going further. In Hebrew, Ruth means friend. Now, I want to show you about this word friend right here, because something hiding in this word, and you'll find this is hidden in a lot of words. R-I-E-N. Now, it might be spelled differently in different examples, but what that is kidney. There's a little glare. I don't know if y'all can see that. But Rhine means kidney. So the friend now we get, this thing just keeps on overflowing with little nuggets and secrets hidden in it. Okay? And we know we learned about the goddess in Greek mythology, Echidna. Now what's interesting, Rhine associated with kidney, echidna, because in Hebrew, the letter for the word for one is echid. Echid. Echidna. Echid. Kidney. So the first root is the first. So it would make sense for it to line up with the Rhine, which is the kidney, which is the word for number 1 in Hebrew, echidna. This is where the first murder occurs. But murder does not necessarily mean what we think it means. Murder means to dissolve, to consume, okay? And ultimately, this is my take on creation. It is the divine itself who is ultimately suffering. If we trace God back to Sifr, which is Eve, which is the goddess, and the goddess is zero, suffering then is the movement of zero is no thing. It is when no thing becomes a thing. It dissolves itself. It numbers itself. GN again, as I said, no, conceive, concept. Look at that. Conception. Conception. So now this is also the birth of the root race gene. Beget, genius, generation, cunning, yoni, kindle, ignite, fire. I mean, each word that comes out of this family is a lecture, to be honest, in itself. So let's keep running, though. We got to keep going. Let's see. So bear with me. I got to lower the camera down. And I'm going crooked. Okay. Okay. And I got to, this might have to be 4 parts. I don't think I want to have time to get done. Okay. Candyman now. Y'all still with me? Everybody can see? Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to make sure this all can be seen. Okay, that might be good as it's gonna get. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Candyman. All right. Now this is dig your heels in a little bit more right here. Candyman. So candy comes from this root, K-A-N-N, con. Man comes from this root, M-E-N, Roman numeral 1. Con, reed. In Hebrew, this translates into quench, erect, rod, shaft. What did I say? One of the last times, the last one I think I did about the flail and the crook. The flail coincides with the rod, and the rod is also called the goad, G-O-A-D, as in go. So look at con, Candyman, con, reed, rod, shaft. In Sanskrit, sunna, sunny, again. But what does the sun do? It rises, erect, rising sun. East, East Indian, hemp. In Greek, Canaan. Canaan, rod, rule. So let's go a little further, because now that we got this connection with Canaan, we got to deal with that. We just can't just act like we didn't see that. So let's drop this on down so you can see this. Because now we're talking about Canaan, it only makes sense to go and look up the Hebrew Canaan. Canaan, land of purple, hence merchant. Why was Thanos purple? in Infinity Wars or the Avengers series. Purple, not by happenstance. Purple, hence merchant. Merchant, what did I say up here about give and receive? Everything's about exchange, commerce. And look at this down here where we get land of purple, hence merchant. All right. Then trader, Cain, Canaan, Canaan, Cayenne, metal worker. Okay. Now you go to the Bible. Solomon's temple is built by Hiram Abiff, who was a widow's son from Tyre. And what did they say about Hiram's father? He was a worker of metal or a worker of brass. Same thing. Look at this. Then we go to the second one, men one. Have one's mind roused, both to love and be mad, to think, remember, show, warn. This is another very prolific root right here. Men one, when you're studying language. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. I'm going to move it over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this side of the board, hopefully, in this presentation. And then I'll come back and I'll finish the back side of the board. Because that's just the way it is, you know? You got to do what you got to do. Make it work. All right. Okay. Now, the mother, again, this is the main character in the movie, though. I know I said Helen is presented as Helen as the main character, but this is, let's put it this way. She's the main character, but this is the miracle of the movie. All right? This is where you want to hang your hat. Okay. So Anne Marie is Anthony's mother, okay? Anne comes from Oino. Marie, of course, is Mary. Oino, check this out. Sanskrit, Eka, one. Remember I said in Hebrew, the word for one is Ehed. Look at this, Sanskrit, Eka. Now you see why universities spend so much time and money to break up language within departments called linguistics. You never can just go ahead and say that everything is everything. But when you go and read books from the 19th century or early 20th century on back into the 19th century, they say it over and over and over. They show correlations between languages that appear to have nothing in common. That's why you get those pieces of literature. Look at that. It's right there. Sanskrit, Eka, Echid, one. Greek, Oinus. Germanic, Anubis. Old English, Ani. One, once. Further, to atone sets one at one. This is really got to hang your hat right here, because atone coincides with the name Anthony. That's why she's Anne Marie, mother of Anthony, because Anne means atonement. Anthony is the atonement. You got to take your hat off to the writers, because this stuff is not by happenstance. There's no way they just pick these names randomly, okay? Mary, linked to the sea, Latin mare, French mer, and to water in general. An English variant of Greek and Hebrew names, Miriam, Egyptian Mary, beloved, as in beloved of Aten, all right? So, I mean, that's self-explanatory right there. You know, she's the water. The fire comes from the water. All right. Now let's move on down. Let's look at Anthony. Okay, Anthony. In Latin, Antonius, priceless, of inestimable worth. Just let that sink in. His name, Anthony, priceless, of inestimable worth. He's the miracle of the movie. You see further down, it says the name Anthony may possibly be linked to the word antonym, which derives from the Indo-European root onomen. Now, why is this important? Because if I let the old camera down again, check this out. Because onomen is the root of the name of the word name. Name. Name can be traced back to the Latin nomen. Nomen as in cognomen, to know. So do you see how this thing goes full circle? The full circle in this is that Ruthie Jean is hidden in here. Ruthie Jean is suffering. Eve, zero. Zero suffers for what? To know. To know. Name, as in nomen, is the same as the word number. Because when you name something, you divide it from everything else. When you number something, you must divide it from the whole. That's suffering. The same root family produces the word noun. And a noun, again, denotes suffering. Why? Because a noun is a state. Each sephiroth on the tree of life is a state. It's a state. State, name, noun, number are all the same. They are all children of this. And you're going to see when I produce this new document, you're going to see, I'm going to break this down. They're all children of that. Nil, zero, no thingness. Isis comes to Kemet to teach the cultivation of wheat. Wheat, the word wheat, oh shit, hold on. The word wheat traces back to thing. So she's teaching the cultivation of things because she is no thing. No thing becomes a thing to make itself everything before it returns to being no thing. Does that make sense? Am I stretching? Does it seem like a stretch? Like, oh, okay, this guy, he's full of it. He's full of it. Like but this is why I like to deal with looking at language, because it don't lie. People lie, language don't lie. People use language to lie. They lie within a language, you know what I'm saying? But language itself is very honest. It does not lie. That's why I love it. And, you know, you can squelch a whole lot of confusion by investigating the language behind something. Now, this is what I'm gonna do. This camera's tripping. Oh, it's because I don't have my autofocus is turned off. So that's part of the reason. So what I've done here is, and I know I went through that fast, but this is where it gets funky. Yeah. This is the meat now. This is the sweets to the sweet. You know? So you stay tuned. I'm gonna come back because I don't want to have to rush through this, because we're gonna break down the last part of, we got the names give us the basic framework of the movie, all right? Okay. But now it's keywords in the movie that I wanted to highlight, you know? Keywords I wanted to highlight. You know, like victim, sacrifice, surrender, you know, rumor, you can't see it. Rumor, and I know it's probably blurry, but I'm doing this fast. Believe, you know, innocent. We got to come in and we got to break all this stuff down. Break it all down. All right. So, okay, I'm glad I at least got one part of this done. I can erase the other side of the board and get to the stuff I really want to get to, because the board been held up for a minute now. This evening, I'm going to come back. If y'all want to join in, I'm going to come back and we're going to do the other side of the board. All right? Candyman. And finish this, because there's a whole lot of other things that I want to talk about. Other things going on, all types of stuff. My office is chaos right now because I hate to misuse words, but it's when I say the word download, it truly is true that's what's been going on, and that's why everything's so chaotic right now. And it's hard to try to maintain your sanity, to be completely honest, because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. I want to thank everybody who's been buying the books. I still have them. You can go to the website, mastersofthecosmos.com, get you a copy of The Lies Behind the Ties, get you a copy of Scribe It, Say It, Sex It. Very important, especially given the times we're in now. You're in the house, you know, who knows, you might be in the house for a prolonged period again, who knows. Get both of those to get you a free t-shirt. But I got to go. We'll come back, and I guess it's going to end up being a part 4. But part 4 is going to be it. Candyman Codex. Part 4 word game coming up. As always, stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay